Juan Lopez that did that huge Instagram card scammers page and was calling out all the scammers, and he was the biggest scammer ever. It's like guys
Building
like
integrity to scam people.
right,
Yeah.
but like
Welcome to another timeless moment brought to you by the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. If you like the video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to support the show, please hit that subscribe button and tick that bell so you get notified whenever we go live. See you in the comments. Today's episode is a long one, but if you stick around to the end, there is an interview that Russell and I did at a recent card show to accompany this week's timeless moment. Enjoy. And we're back with another timeless moment. Russell, what is today's topic?
hello Adam, hello everyone at home. We hope you find this well.
Yes.
We hope you
Hope you found this well. We find you. This is not going to be timeless, Russell.
This could be a long, short episode.
This could be a timeless episode rather than a timeless moment.
All right. So the whole idea of timeless moments is we do topics that you can reflect on.
Yes.
And aren't dated so much. Okay. So this post is about people buying PSA slabs, cracking them out, applying on a fake Panini seal and reselling it. And I think that you could extrapolate this to a million different scenarios. You could extrapolate that to taking a card out of a one-touch, putting it into a different one-touch, and then putting a Panini seal on it. It doesn't have to be out of a PSA graded card.
Yep.
It could be anything that you're doing to increase the value of a card that isn't legitimate, or you're not telling the seller, the buyer, I should say. So I think we should. That's just to sort of set the background of what we're about to to go in and talk about.
Yeah.
So this was a post that was put up on Sports Cards Addict Australia, and I'm going to read this word for word. Pains me to write this post, but I'm deeply gutted and frustrated after knowing about this. Just unbelievable what measures we need to do to make a buck. For those that don't know, Panini sometimes seals individual cards in tamper-proof packaging. And for context of that, when they would sometimes do that is when it's a redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And when a card didn't make it into the inventory product,
Yep.
and you would then get it back. And then the other scenario that they did it to was in 17-18, they did it for uncirculated cards.
Mm-hmm.
That was the other time they
Yep.
did it then too.
Yep. Well,
Usually high-end
redemption
hits.
replacements was the big one.
Yep.
And because
Actually,
yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Yep.
We're about to, actually, Cyril's going to write that into his post here. Usually high-end hits from redemptions, replacements, or special releases.
Yep.
When people start faking these Panini seals, it creates a huge problem. And so this has been something that I feel like people have known about for the last couple of years, that you can just go online and buy these fake Panini seals. This hobby is built on trust. We trade, buy, and sell cards often without seeing them in person first. And that's 100% true.
Yeah.
That is so true. That's the same as eBay or any other auction site too. That trust is what keeps this whole thing going. When faked sealed cards start floating around, it makes everyone question what's real and what's not. And we've spoken about that on the podcast, I would say numerous times. And probably at the end of the day, that is what stops me purchasing some particular cards in the hobby. I would
Without a doubt. Yeah.
say that for my own personal thing. Yeah. And let's not to forget, a lot of new collectors are getting into the hobby, and many of us are introducing our kids to it. They should be learning about collecting passion and the stories behind the cards. If we let this kind of thing slide, it affects everyone. So let's keep looking out for each other, educate those who might not know better. And I think that's the perspective that we're taking from this episode. We want to talk about this from a educational point, not a burn people at the stake, witch hunt type thing. And protect the hobby for the next generation. If anyone is thinking of lying like this to the hobby, think again and just stop. It's a small world, and we are getting better at spotting scams now. Cards will be returned to and sorted out by the op. And so I think that's a really good thing to talk about. As we've had this huge proliferation of information made available to us. So, for
Yeah.
example, PSA registries now have photographs attached to them.
Yeah.
eBay listings will generally be made available for 6 months, even longer, with the way that some websites will aggregate
Yeah.
data sales. So, for example, 130 Point. There's other apps out there will also take that data and hold on to it.
Yeah.
When I first saw this, what I actually thought was that the cards had been faked, because you could see the PSA cards. They were graded authentic from PSA Auto 9, and
Yeah.
then the next photo you see is the cards outside of the PSA slabs in one touches with the Panini seal on.
Yeah.
So I think part of it was like the color difference in the cards, but I think at the end of the day that was just like a bad photograph on one, or that's not fair to say that, an underexposed photograph on one, and one that had the color a lot more balanced.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
as you then read through the comments, so let's just go down a little bit into this.
Yeah.
Raymond Nicholas Ganea. Hi guys, I bought this card and eventually found out from Cyril that it had been cracked and resealed. I actually like the card. I have no issue with it being cracked. What I do take issue with is the fact that people were deceived into believing it was sealed. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe to get a few extra $100. Maybe to make the transaction smoother. And the thing is, these guys are stable in the hobbies, OGs. You deal with them at card shows, you trust them, and now they say it's normal practice in the hobby. That's BS. They should know better. I've been refunded and will be returning the card. I'm disappointed. And so obviously there'd been a conversation in that space, and that was the initial response back that they got, is that it's normal practice. So I suppose that's the next talking point for you and I just to talk about now, is how common practice is it that people are doing this? Because I'm not aware of this being a common practice.
I'm not aware of it being a common practice, and to cut that off with just because someone else is doing it doesn't make it right to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Tonight,
Yeah.
literally, after seeing this post, this is the first I'd heard of fake Panini tags and things.
We have spoken about it before, Ad, but
it's
I think this is the first example where it's been rubbed in our faces.
Yeah. Like
in the local Aussie community. I think that's the other thing too.
that's the local like the people that we do have a lot of trust in within the hobby. Yeah.
So I think just like a couple more things just to add to the context of this. We actually did reach out to the op of this and invite them to come onto the show so that they could have a fully unfiltered and uninterrupted time to respond. So that, I think that's also worth adding in now, because the questions that for me is obviously to ask is, how common is this? Where did you get the Panini seals from? And if you're telling us it's normal practice in the hobby, when did this become normal practice? And what circles are participating in this normal practice? Because again, if like we're looking at this from an educational point of view, like that's to me is the obvious things to talk about, because at least if people are doing this shady stuff, at least inform people about it, and then you can make an informed decision about it. Because that's what Raymond talked about too, is like he actually really likes the card.
Yep.
So it's more about him being deceived than like being scammed per se. And so, the other thing I'm a little bit interested on here is like, why didn't they just renegotiate the card and then op refunded him some money back?
Yeah.
Like that, but maybe you get so dirty, you're just like, look, I want out of this deal and I don't want to have to deal with you anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I can understand
correct.
that perspective too,
Yeah. I guess it's a tricky thing, right? You make a deal based on what your perception of the card is. It turns out it's not what you thought it was.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough to go with, you know what? I don't want to proceed with this any longer. I'll go back and I'll seek the card out. In other,
somewhere else. I'll give my cash to another vendor. I think that's a fine way to feel too. I think that's fine. Just to mark you up here, Ed, I'm going to scroll back to Rod Adams. A couple of vendors got scammed with fake downtowns with similar stickers at CollectFest last weekend. It's horrific, and unfortunately these guys will thrive amongst uneducated collectors, much like the fake signed merchandisers all over eBay. in shopping centers and at markets in Australia. So now this is a little bit of a funny tidbit. So when I was at CollectFest, I was actually at Peter Georgie's table when a intermediate seller came up to their table to try and sell them what turned out to be a fake downtown of Wemby.
Yeah, yeah.
And how it was picked up was that the printing on the back was like a little bit blurry. Now,
Wow.
I'm going to use the word this is the only time I hope to use allegedly in this podcast today, but allegedly that card was transacted via Veriswap. And so I reached out to Raymond when a whole bunch of stuff went down recently, and Raymond's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Great guy. I would love to have him back on again, because I think the follow-up to that alleged question is like, what happens when fake cards do get traded on it? Because that's what Cyril's talking about here. All this stuff is built on trust. If people are going on putting on fake cards, what is the protections in place to help people, be made whole again, I suppose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that extra layer of deceit.
Yeah.
Like, and correct me if I'm wrong, so the card is genuine?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not a fake card?
That's right. And initially when I read it, that's where I was like, actually, is this a fake card? But it's not. It's just being cracked out of the slab.
But it's been cracked out of the slab, put in, and then a tag being put over it.
Correct.
And just for context, so another friend of the show, John O'Michaels will be one. Mailman breaks.
Yeah.
He puts a tag over his slabs. Not his slab, but his one touches, right? To cover up the dot. And it's branded for his. That's his stuff.
Yeah, I think it's more about breaker branding.
Yeah, but that's a breaker brand, right?
Yeah.
That if I see Mailman breaks, I know where it's come from.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't like the idea of people deceiving the greater market by trying to convince people that it's a Panini issued slab.
Yeah.
Is that where the main concern is, right? It's the deceit there.
Yeah, and I think traditionally, if you grade a card authentic, it means that it's not going to grade well. So someone's had a pretty good look at the card, thinking, okay, there's no point sending this off for grading, just for authentication.
Sure.
Which is, and by the way, I think that's a really good thing to do in today's market, because that protects you from this layer of BS.
Of course.
Right?
Like it's IMAX full of crap that like they never grade a 10.
A little bit of the irony of the situation is like the card was actually removed out of something that was offering it protection and also buyer protection. Right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
And so I think what the purchaser was talking about here is, why would you do something like this?
Yep.
Maybe to get a few extra $100, because people then buy those cards with the thought in the back of their mind, I'm going to send this off to PSA. Maybe it's going to come back with a high grade.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a bit of money out of this. When in fact, I think the writing's on the wall that's in fact not the correct message. Not going to
happen, yeah, for sure.
Scrolling down, Peter Georgie. Hey everyone, this post is on behalf of myself and Max, excuse my pronunciation, Lau. I want to take this opportunity to take ownership and responsibility of what has happened. I'm reading this word for word. I wasn't 100% honest with these two cards. I've admitted my fault to Raymond and Trent and Hans. I've also refunded all people involved as soon as I possibly could. I've never done anything like this before, and I will not do anything like this in the future. I did not ghost or try to run away with anyone's money. I tried my best to rectify it ASAP. This type of thing does go on in the hobby, and it is 100% wrong. I should not have done it. Peter, I would love to talk to you about that statement.
Yes.
I think this is what people need to know. I've been in this hobby for a few years and done hundreds of deals with nothing but positive experiences, and I'm deeply sorry for how this has transpired. I've apologized profusely to all involved and done everything I can to make it right. I hope that everyone I have dealt with in the hobby over the last 4 years can forgive myself and Max. We accept any punishment or bad perception we have in the hobby going forward. I just hope that the ones we've dealt with over many years will see this as a mistake, and as a one-off. It will never happen again. That's the end of his statement. So I was referring to Peter as op previously because I wanted to let this play out a little bit as I sort of had this play out to myself. So what's your first reaction from listening to that?
Sounds like someone that I don't think there's any. I think there's genuine remorse in the statement. I don't think once you've been caught doing something like this, you'll ever do it again, unless you're a complete idiot. The statement saying he's never done this previously, look, I'll take that with a grain of salt. When you get caught, it's always the first time, right? We can't confirm it. We can't substantiate. Like there's no getting the truth either way unless you're there, unless you know, unless you've been in and around this environment. I think it's a really good. If you look through the thread, it was a brave call to come out and say you made everybody whole. I think that shows a bit of character.
Yeah.
To make everybody whole. It shows the level of remorse that you've got. But I think there's a lot of trust that's been destroyed. And I think that stuff doesn't sort of just that doesn't rebuild. And yeah, I think the I've seen that there's a lot of reference to 100%, and you can 100% guarantee that this hobby will not forget what's happened.
Yeah, I think I'm going to comment on this like outside of the hobby. This is just sort of like a blanket comment here. I think some people have a stomach for crime. And some people don't.
Okay. Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like you sort of dip your toe into the pool.
Give it a crack, like, you know what?
This shit's not for me. I feel terrible. I feel guilty. I want to make this right as much as I can. You know what I mean? So like, and the way I sort of read that, I'm kind of like, okay, he's done something. He's got busted, and he's like, look, this thug life, this outlaw life, this is not for Peter Georgie.
Yeah, fair.
You know?
Like, yeah, fair, for sure.
I want to go back to the head moisturizer. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And so, whereas, you know, we've seen other guys in the hobby, like, who was that scammer that was hiding out in Carlton that was doing those, like...
Oh, one of one or whatever. One,
yeah. Juan Lopez that did that huge Instagram card scammers page and was calling out all the scammers, and he was the biggest scammer ever. It's like...
building like, integrity to scam people.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like...
That was planned long
But
con.
I bet you he is still scamming today, man. He doesn't care.
Of course.
Right? He's
just
like,
found the next scam.
He's just learning how to scam better for next time. And
yeah,
so,
for sure.
You know, is Peter like going down that path, or is he just going down, look, this is, you know, this
I think Peter got caught and
Peter's
Peter's not doing this.
Yeah. And by the way, that is pure speculation.
Of course.
On my behalf. And again, Peter, we've reached out to you, mate. We would love to hear from you and get you on the record about this because...
For sure.
Yeah. All right. We're at 18 minutes. Any further thoughts?
I think it's...
/last thoughts.
I think it's a learning lesson. Again, there's a lot of these lessons. Somebody's got to learn them. But I'm glad it's shared with the broader community when it happens. It makes us as a hobby stronger.
Yeah. When
we learn what's happening, when we share that information. Yes, there are a lot of people out there to deceive, but yes, there are a lot of good people that have a lot of integrity and would never do that. And that's how this trust is built in the first place. Yeah. So I do want to finish on a bit of a positive and say the hobby is strong. We have a very loud voice in the community and we look out for our own, and it's good to see things like this being made publicly aware, and we don't need to pick up our stakes and pitchforks and go and burn somebody at the stake. We just need to make sure that, as Rod Adams pointed out in the thread, that it's the new kids in the hobby. It's the people brand new to collecting. They're the ones that we need to protect. And I think the hobby does a great job of doing that and making them aware of things.
All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves.
And we'll see you in the next timeless moment. As promised, here is an interview that Russell did recently with Peter Georgie. This isn't related to the video that just went. Peter, we would love to hear from you, but this was recorded only a couple of months ago at the most recent Hobby Hangout Excel. Take a listen.
Hey Russell, I'm Peter from Peter's Go
Hey,
Karts.
how you doing?
Very good, and you?
Good.
Yeah, it's good.
Tell us about the last 12 months since you've last been on the podcast.
It's been incredible. I feel like I've really changed the way that I collect. I've gone from a lot more lower end cards to that mid to high end, specializing in that.
The last time we spoke, you went to America and sold your whole collection to a dealer over there, and you said you just started again.
I started all over again, and I sold about 100 or 150 cards there, and I've bought, somewhere in that mid to high end range of, I've only got around 30 cards now that I keep, and about 4 or 5 of those are now PC. So I've really changed the way that I collect. So it's more enjoyable like that for me. And now that when I'm buying cards as well, it's not just for the purpose of, flipping or making $1. I've actually got to really like the card so that if I want to hold, if I don't sell it, I'm okay holding it for a while.
Yeah. So that makes sense. And so you went to America. What card shows did you go to America?
I went to the Burbank Card Show in August, and I also went there in February. 2 very different experiences. August was really great for buying. A lot of people were, a lot more negotiable. For some reason, I'm not sure if it was the time of the year. In February, it was an extremely good time to sell.
Yeah.
So I got extremely over what I was asking for quite a few, for quite a few cards. I once again sold everything and started again. Yeah. Bought some really high-end LeBrons that I'm holding on to that you can probably see right in front of you right now. Yeah. But yeah, it was just incredible, and I'd love to go again. Hopefully August.
Why are you targeting LeBron at the moment? What's your theory behind that?
This is a bit of controversy, but the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
lay your wicket
greatest
down,
player of all time. Yeah. He'll be retiring next year as well, in my personal opinion. Yeah. Year 23, surely he'll go out with a bang. Yeah. And I think those cards he'll have a few jumps, I think, like Jordan, once he retires, once a documentary comes out, once he one day dies. But he's got so much room to grow, and I think he's not as appreciated as he will be when he retires.
Yeah. So at the moment, you just sort of feel like he's an underrated guy.
Absolutely. It's crazy to say LeBron and underrated in the same sentence, but it kind of,
Actually, it's funny you say that, because I can't imagine him not doing a documentary about himself. The size of his ego, there's no, you know what I mean? There's no way he's not going to do that.
He has to. Yeah. I mean, the amount of moments he's had in his career, this social media area we live in, everything's documented, so it's put in a documentary. I think he has to.
Yeah. And what about the impact of him signing with Topps, and now Topps is going to release a whole bunch of his autographs?
Yeah.
Do you think that's
good question?
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I think his high school autos will drop.
Yeah.
But I think his Cav stuff is timeless. I think he'll stand the test of time. So. Yeah. I'm excited to see him sign with Topps, to be honest. Those Lakers orders should look really good. So
when you say Cav stuff, you're talking about the upper deck.
Yeah, the upper deck Cav stuff. Yeah. This exquisite patch order, I think, will stand for ages. So
because there's no Miami autographs or Los Angeles.
Yeah, there will be Los Angeles soon, but no Miami ones.
Actually, when you say it like that, having that huge gap in between, the Lakers stuff is going to go crazy.
I think so, to be honest. I think so. It will be very exciting. I'm trying to buy a redemption of one of his new autos, because I think the redemptions, they're still extremely expensive, but they won't be as expensive as the card when they get here. So I'm trying to get my hands on one.
Yeah. Right.
So very exciting.
No, I love that. Any final thoughts?
Same as last time. You can't comp this. You know where it's at.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.